viewing ads, with 70% of the revenue going to users and the other 30% going to the developers of Brave. We'd be remiss too if we didn't also mention Opera, a browser that still has a substantial cult following. In addition to the aforementioned search engine royalties, they also have deals with sites like eBay to get placed on a user's main speed dial page, and have partnered with smartphone manufacturers like Xiaomi to pre-install the browser on their devices. And then there was also a recent scandal where it appeared that Opera was using apps in certain countries to offer predatory loans with absurdly high interest rates. So the bad news is they've used up a fair bit of their goodwill, and they may not be a popular browser for much longer. Although the good news is that they're gaining valuable experience in the industry of loan sharking, so they can only survive by offering student loans, since that seems to be basically how that works. Speaking of how that works, Brilliant is the problem-solving based website and app with a hands-on approach to learning how stuff works. They've got over 60 interactive courses in math, science, and computer science. The great thing about Brilliant is you get to master concepts by solving fun, challenging problems for yourself rather than watching someone else do it. It's really useful if you're in a STEM course. Their courses have storytelling, code writing, interactive challenges, and problems to solve, and you can check out their course on search engines. Have you ever wondered how Google can answer your question in just a fraction of a second, even though there are billions of websites for it to search through? Check it out, because the first 200 people who head to brilliant.org/techwiki, we have that link below, are going to get 20% off their annual premium subscription. Thanks for watching, guys. Like this, check out our other videos, leave a comment if you have a suggestion for a future fast as possible, and don't forget to subscribe, because if you do, chipmunks will bite your toes. I've seen them do it. Yes, sir, Bob, my friends. In today's video, the young whippersnappers in our audience are going to have a look at how the previous generation lived. Because believe it or not, we did have your mobile computers. It's just that to say that they weren't quite as sleek and sexy as a modern ultrabook would be a gross understatement. Thanks to World of Warships for sponsoring this video. It's the free-to-play online strategy game that features millions of players battling to upgrade their armory of ships, weapons, and armor. Tune in at the end of the video or click the link below to learn more. So step one, I guess, is to get this puppy booted up. Now, this might not stand out to some of you, but one of the first things I noticed about this thing is the power cord. Fascinating, isn't it? It's just a normal power cord. There's no external power brick. This thing has an internal power supply. Are you kidding me? Alright, let me get this plugged in. Now, Brian the electrician, who I borrowed this thing from, he actually told me the battery on this thing does work, but lithium batteries don't age very well, so I'd be surprised if it stays on longer than a couple minutes. It's like so exciting. He also told me that he preloaded my favorite game on it, which I don't remember talking to him about retro games at any point, so let's see what he's got here. Wow! Is that 80 megs of RAM? That's actually pretty respectable for a computer of this era. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's okay. Right now it's 95. So that makes this thing significantly older than James. Like, we literally have people working here who are younger than this laptop. I haven't heard that sound in so long. Alright, so this is it. This is the desktop experience. Does it write it? No, it does not. Wow, it's not a fantastic display. So I just wanted to check that RAM amount, and I realized I don't actually remember how to access Task Manager in Windows 95. You can't just right-click the taskbar. Why is the system resources your program using? Like a program, the resource meter uses system resources when it's running. This may cause your computer to run more slowly. Isn't that right? That's when you have like 100 megahertz CPUs. Your computer would warn you about opening up resource monitors because it cuts your resource consumption. Wow, that is a fairly rudimentary resource calculations. Well, your system resources, they're very 6% free. As for your user resources, same thing. I'll try one of the other similar looking things here. How about system monitor? Okay, that's more like it. So we are using about 40 megs of RAM. On what? We don't know. I tried to keep it just like to scroll, and all I did was move my icons around. Just like, yeah, sure, you know what? Give me an appreciation for, modern grid arrangements and everything snapping into place, right? How big's our drive? Wow! 4 gigs! FAT32 storage. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, to put that in context, this ultrabook has 4 times that in system memory. Alright, so we're fired up. Let's get into what Brian thinks is my favorite game. And actually, okay, there's no way he would have guessed this. But I actually played so many hours of 1602 AD back when the only gaming computer I had was a Pentium 90 desktop that I inherited from my uncle. Is the sound on? If you don't happen to have something playing while you're making adjustments, you can press down for a test tone. I didn't need a mouse though in order to play this game. USB didn't come around until Windows 98 SE, if I recall correctly. This laptop doesn't have USB. Actually, no, hold on. Okay, ow! So that's labeled mouse keyboard, that is a PS2 port, and I happen to have in my bag of wonders a PS2 to USB adapter. I'm gonna have to go digging deeper into the bag of wonders and see if I have a PS2 mouse. Okay, well, we didn't find a PS2 mouse, but I did find a ball mouse with USB, so I'm hoping that this will... Hey! Not bad! Yes, my friends, these are great for all sorts of things. Picking up all the dust off your desk and putting it in one convenient place to be picked off and disposed of later. Throwing these nice heavy rubber balls at people you didn't like. Oh, man. Got my hair and gum cracked around this. Gross. Before I settle in for my nostalgic gaming session, though, actually, why don't we take a closer look at this thing? It's got some real problems compared to modern computers. These bezels take up, like, as much of the top of the unit as the freaking screen does. They're so big. This touchpad is abominable. Though, with that said, I do appreciate the inclusion of dedicated left and right clicks here. Speakers suck, and this thing is freaking heavy. Like, it is chunky. Like, you were carrying a briefcase if you have one of these. But it has some advantages compared to modern devices. So even though we weren't really able to plug in our, modern mouse to it very easily, the I/O on this thing is substantial. So check this out. You've got your floppy disk reader. You've got not one, but 2 PCMCIA expansion slots. So these could actually be used back in the day to add new ports to laptops. Go figure, right? We've got our RJ11 modem port. We've got the PS2 port we ended up using. Check this out. That, my friends, yes, that is infrared. So I believe, though, instead of being used as just like a remote control or to like control your TV, this was actually for wireless data transmission. I know, right? We've got our printer port. We've got a dock port, VGA out, serial, and then, moving around. Finally, my arm is like actually falling asleep holding this thing. We've got our CD-ROM drive, and finally, headphone, microphone jack. Yes, my friend, the headphone jack. And check this out. Here's a feature you layout's great. It's got dedicated keys for home and page up, page down. It's got, look at this travel. Listen to that, like that is a laptop keyboard. And check this out, it's even got remappable shortcut buttons. Like, come on, 1996 wasn't such a bad time. I mean, yeah, there's no Windows key. You know what, though, 1602 actually can be run on relatively modern machines. And there is a game that I legitimately have not played since like 2002 when the Classroom computers actually ran Windows 95, Windows 98. And it's called Liero. Unfortunately, getting it seems like it might be a little tricky. So a lot of you might not realize this, but check this out. Windows 95 is actually like, the blue Internet Explorer icon. This is when, like, Internet Explorer was the name because it was Internet Mail, Internet News, and Internet Explorer. What does Internet News even look like? Wait, this is like a folder where Internet Mail should keep your messages. What are you talking about? Internet News configuration. Holy crap. So we're going to have to download the game separately and then just copy it over here. Except one small problem. Even though the game is small enough to fit on a single floppy disk, I don't have any floppy disks. Does this pop out? Is this floppy drive removable? Holy crap, it is. There must be like a tap somewhere for it. It definitely can. Anyway, also, RJ45 was considered a fancy pants feature back then. None of that. And of course, even if Windows 95 did support USB storage, it doesn't have any USB ports. And Wi-Fi? Oh, forget about it. That was still a twinkle in the eye of an engineer somewhere. Like that's not a thing. I'll go back. Fortunately, what is a thing is this old external CD burner that I have, and this spindle of CDRs that I happen to have kicking around. Like, I still remember when if you had a CD burner, you were the coolest kid in class. Like, yeah, they were slow, and the software was atrocious. Also, the blank discs were expensive. So when a burn failed, it was like actually a big deal. Like, okay, there goes a few more dollars. Great, thanks for that. But you could move a whopping 650 megabytes of data in between machines or store it safely, and that is exactly what we're going to do. Now, I don't actually have burning software installed on this laptop because why would I? But I seem to recall Microsoft building it in at some point. Okay, how do you want to use this disc? With a CD-DVD player? Manage. Finish burning. Okay. I'm burning a CD. It's been a while. Now, when I say these things were slow, like, I really mean it. I'm going at a speed that is about 8 times what we would have had back then in the early days of CD burning. I'm only writing like a mega files, and it's still taking this long because there was the preamble and the finishing process that had to be done on the disk regardless of how much you wrote to it. So let's see if this works. Fortunately, if it didn't, I've got this whole spindle that definitely is not earmarked for any other purpose. So Brian must actually bring this for me. That's awesome. Thanks, dude. Hey, there we go. Holy crap, I think it worked. Liero Windows 98. Give her a second here. Gotta ramp up that disk. Hey, is this gonna work? Oh, IRT5! Extended memory successfully initialized. Press any key. Oh, yeah, Liero V1.33, baby. Hey, Jake, you wanna play some Liero? Liero. So it's local multiplayer only. Oh, so not like WAS in here. Well, you're RPG, and then you need fire, change weapons, and jump. If it helps at all, mine's really not much better. So there's a mini map down here. Wait, I've never played this before. No, there's a way to dig past. Ah, there it is. You hold the direction you want to go, and then you press that. So you, like, you stand back. I think this keyboard has ghosting issues. Oh, I see. So only one of us can, like, dig at a time. Get some closest going on after this disk. Oh, crap. That was not what I meant to do. Oh, crap. Slaughtered. That's slaughtered. It's killing me here. No, I can't even aim. Oh, no. Oh, wait, the shot. I can't change my weapons because you're holding down keys. Yes. No. I can't change my weapons. No, you won. With 14 lives in me all day. Yeah, when you're better at the game and the controls are working, it actually goes pretty quick. Oh, the grasshopper's really powerful. What the hell? Okay, next point wins, I guess. Yeah. Shoot. I shouldn't have said that. And I'm done. Now, one of the other things I used my laptop for when I was a teenager was looking at pictures. So the problem, though, is that when you... Did that just use Internet Explorer to open a picture? It did. It is downloading it from the CD-ROM drive. Give her a minute. Oh, yeah, there it goes. She's loading. She's loading in. Skin tones were really not handled very well on the default setting. So, you can hardly tell because the display is so bad, but if you zoom in on this, can you tell how little color depth there is to this thing? Yes. Look at it, like, loading in on the edges of the frame. You see that? Oh, it's spectacular. Now, fortunately, many older computers, if you run into the properties much like you would today, allow you to, here we go, change the color palette from the default 256 to high color, or even true color. Now, with that said, that didn't actually seem to do much for me. And it might have been Windows 98 where they had a built-in picture viewer. Can I open this with something else? Like, is this something that's been open? Yeah, this is clearly no better. The bottleneck here may actually be the display. You guys will just have to take my word for it. 16 or better yet, 24-bit color was definitely a much better experience when looking at pictures on your laptop. Better representation of skin tones for sure. That is assuming that your dial-up internet connection could even download anything high-res, high color. I think that's enough for me fooling around with this thing. Let's get down to business. Price is 1602.80. Is the sound not working? That turned off, is it? It's not a form of DRM or anything. It's just that the sound assets were too big to actually copy over to a hard drive. In-game music wouldn't work without the disk. So, go ahead and close down the program for that one more time. Not great. Single player. Oh, lame. The yellow and blue player got big ships to start. So, somewhere in the southern island is good late game because you've got like cotton and all that kind of stuff, but actually northern islands were better for food production. We have to explore the island. One moment, please. Ooh, cocoa and cotton, 100% yield. Oh, and there's ore! There we go. Oh, the warehouse. The controls are like so unintuitive. Now, I might go home tonight and like legit play this game. It's got a forester's hut going on over here. I won't subject you guys to any more of that though. So that's pretty much it. That's a look at not the laptop that I owned as a kid, but one that is pretty darn close. It was a hand-me-down actually from my half-sister's dad, so it was already worthless then, and it's even more worthless now. World of Warships is a free-to-play strategy action game that some would refer to as a thinking man's action game. You can battle it out with 7 million players worldwide, and each in-game ship is based on 3D scans of real-life ships. There are over 200 ships to unlock, like the historic USS Missouri and USS Arizona, and there's 4 different classes of ships, along with a bunch of upgrades, weather effects, and strategically designed environments, so the action never ends, and every match is different. The game is getting continually updated, so there's always something new to experience or achieve, and you can click the link below to collect the exclusive bonus starter pack. New players can register with code PLAYLANGUAGE2019 to receive 300 balloons, credits, the USS Langley premium aircraft carrier, 3 days of premium time, and more. So go check it out. So thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks to Brian for giving me this old Concorde laptop to play with here. And if you guys enjoyed the video, you can hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, you can hit subscribe. If you disliked it, well, you don't hit that button. But we're gonna have, I did my entire outro or whatever. Go buy merch and join our forum. Yes. Now, my mama told me a lot of things growing up. She said, stand up straight. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, and never kick them while they're down. But I don't see my mama. Do you? And that is why today's video is going to be about Walmart's overpowered 15.6-inch gaming laptop. Could it possibly be as bad as their desktop? Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? And this video is sponsored by Elgato. The Stream Deck Mini has 6 fully customizable LCD buttons with easy-to-use programming software. Check it out at Amazon, and you will get the link below. Alright, so my day is we crack the books open, see, you know, it's anything epic. Overpowered, maybe? Can we get this close? Okay, hold on. Hold on, I get serious. That's fine, that's fine. Hold on.
Overpowered.
Yes, go. Really? So they've got their control center, but that's it. That is the most hilarious animation. Look at it. About the game. What the hell? Who thinks that's a good idea? I mean, it's the same kind of thing you have with a normal program. It doesn't have like an acceleration curve. It's just like, for those who don't know, it's called disruptive innovation. Okay, so you're gonna get disrupted. So in the OK control center, you can turn on and off your LED light bar, which is right here. It's RGB. You can turn on and off your keyboard backlight. You can turn off the internal display. Oh crap, now what? You have a bunch of different keyboard effects. You can alter your fan settings. So office mode or game mode. If it's in game mode by default, there's also terminal mode. Boom! You know, as far as system bloat goes, this is really not bad. However, as not bad as it might be, this is just a skin. What is this? What am I doing? There's no way that that is not programmed in. So what was the intent? Here, disruptive innovation, I told you. Peel ejected. One can say that the peel was not too appealing. One can, but one shouldn't. Okay, what does this mean? Tap twice? Hey, there's a little light in the touchpad. So when you tap this corner twice, it enables or disables the touchpad. So to Walmart's credit here, there actually are a fair number of features, you know, whether you buy into the RGB hype or not, that are specifically tailored to gamers. As for the overall sort of build quality of the machine, I would describe it just from sort of a fit and finish standpoint here as average at best, but certainly not the worst thing I've ever seen. And step-wise, the 144Hz display is not immediately disappointing to me. Not super bright or anything, but it's not super dim either. Okay, stop that. Hey, stop that. So moving stuff around quickly on screen, there's pretty good clarity even during fast movement, so yeah, it's not a CRT or anything, but for an IPS panel, that's not bad. What do you think of the mechanical keyboard? It has a mechanical keyboard, according to the specs. That's stupid. So the OK control center is not tied into the keyboard brightness adjustment over here, so if you turn it off, that is so cringe. To see if it's actually mechanical, we actually pried one of the keycaps off here, and yeah, it does appear to be, so we've got our metal contact piece here that seems to be what makes the key itself actuate. So it actually does actuate before it bottoms out. But the issue is that it's almost like they implemented this feature without a clear understanding of why or what it is about mechanical keyboards that makes them good for gaming. Because they've got kind of a very heavy feel towards the top of the key press, and then they're quite mushy after that. So there's no real clear advantage over just a short travel scissor switch, for example. How do you feel about the mount pad? It's a little too cramped. So I like that they're using all the space that they have here for a keyboard. Like they're going almost edge-to-edge keyboard, which is nice. Like the keys are quite big. But I kind of question this, actually not just for this one, but of our other contestants as well, including a numpad on a gaming laptop. Like what are you playing? Like a counting simulator? Like even mine. Okay, that's what I said. So for I/O, we've got USB 2, Ethernet, audio, dedicated microphone jack. That's kind of nice to see. Over here we've got two USB 3s, an SD card reader, and then, oh wow, that's not bad. A USB Type-C, which is over with our display output, HDMI and 2 mini display ports. That, I guess, is because they figure people will use it as a display out more than as just a USB port. That's sort of an interesting thought. And actually, a lot of ventilation. Keep things here, 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 and here, and then basically just wide open mesh across the bottom. But it still actually has a reasonable amount of structural rigidity down here. It's not bad. Should we crack it open? Assuming we can put the thing back together. That should be fine. Do you have a touch tray or anything we can kind of use as a proxy? Oh, sure. So I thought we were ready to go, but they've got a warranty void if removed sticker. Oh, what's no, address that. So we're using a similar approach to the LG Gram. Now with LG, they were saving weight by using a main board and then daughter boards with these ribbon cables connecting them. But whether it was a cost or weight savings, it ended up with a really interesting internal layout. So without increasing the thickness of the device, it makes extra room for higher profile, like thicker cooling fans and heat sinks and stuff like that, because they're not fighting with the PCB for space. And then we get a similar effect over here for M.2 drive. Now it should be noted that this is not an NVMe SSD, so this is just a regular SATA SSD, just in an M.2 form factor. You can see though, if you wanted, you could put a PCIe 1 here, or you could put a second PCIe 1 here, but not another SATA M.2, so you gotta watch out for this compatibility. They could have just expanded the battery capacity, because this is pretty kinky, you know? And that is actually a perfect segue into how exactly it is that Walmart, best known for good prices on, you know, bathroom paper, got into the laptop manufacturing business. I thought, and I would put money on it, that what they had done was rebranded a laptop unit from the company Clever, who is well known for supplying other brands with their manufactured laptops, but I was wrong. So, to whom did we owe the pleasure of ODM known as Tongfang. Tongfang? I never even heard of them. Neither have I up until, 2 days ago. And apparently, Turkish monster. Laptops based on this exact. The reason known as the Amazon 5 Charlie Noob Station. Satisfactory origin just used Squabble. Like, I thought everyone just used Squabble. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't aware of these guys at all. Like Sager, Eurocom, Origin. I thought it was just all Squabble rebrands. But then there's this, so what are they called again? Tongfang. Company that I probably never heard of. I say hardly because I technically heard of them in the last 3 minutes here. So here's the thing. This approach of basically rebranding what someone else has already built has advantages, like allowing a company like Walmart, who has no experience whatsoever designing computers, to just jump right into the market with a product that might have some flaws, like this keyboard is very imperfect, but it's otherwise balancedly stacked and very functional. The disadvantage is that it's hard to differentiate yourself, so you have mentioned that Origin also sells as well. Can you stack up an identical config to this already? Objective. And how much does that cost? Bear in mind, you think the cost mentioned was essential. Now, based on the experience by dealing with Origin PC, the $1,500 gaming system that they sent us, not guess how much this concept would cost. Origin PC specs out to be pretty much same as this minus 1 terabyte hard drive. $1,400, so identical to what Walmart was charging, except that with Origin, you get to have Origin's customer service, which in Secret Shopper we have established it was, at least sample size of 2, I guess, but was excellent. And you'll have the confidence that down the line, if you need help with your system, Origin PC will probably still be in the PC business, whereas with Walmart, I'm not sure if that's so clear. Either way, Origin did not score well in value, which leads us to the question, is Origin going aggressive on their laptop pricing, or is Walmart enjoying Origin-like markups? Yes. Well, yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. You've probably been asking yourself, why do you have these other laptops on the table? You'd be asking yourself a good question. So when we bought it, this was $1,400. But in the time that it's been sitting on our shelf, Walmart implemented a rollback to only $800 for this thing. So, over here, we got an $800 Nitro 5 from Acer, rocking a Core i5 8th Gen and a GTX 1050 Ti. And then over here, representing the $1,400 price point, we've got an Asus ROG, I think it was a Star or something. It's a last-gen processor, but in terms of gaming performance, it should be quite similar, and the GPU is a GTX 1060. So in Cinebench or whatever, it won't perform as well as the current-gen version of this, but in games, it should be basically identical. So let's go ahead and fire up our stress test here and make sure that, there's not any egregious thermal throttling issues or anything like that. Were you expecting this to be clocked like 300, 400 megahertz lower than the Asus model? According to what I researched and tried, lots of basket thermal throttling issues. Runs hard, but we cannot hear it at all. Perhaps it's because you set it into like desktop mode and I didn't press enter. Oh, I was on battery. Well, wait, so that means then anyway that Asus's on-battery performance profile is much more aggressive. I'm still on battery. Yeah, let's take a look how much battery is left because they were on it for the same time. An hour and 14 minutes, 60% remaining. 38% remaining, so they're both terrible. Oh, there we go. 150, 165 FPS. So they've been running long enough to reach equilibrium now. Bottom line is, this guy clocks in anywhere from 80 to 100 megahertz slower than this one, and the performance cap reason given by GPU-Z is power for both of them, but our overpowered laptop hits this cap more frequently. They're both around the same temperature, with this one coming in at around 71 degrees. Maybe stop it for a second here because I had a microphone issue. Don't worry about it anyway. 71 degrees, and this one at 74, with the overpowered being about as loud, maybe a touch louder. Let's see how it goes in actual games though. So performance-wise, it is already falling behind the Asus machine, but by like 2 to 4 FPS here and there. And it is way ahead, not just in terms of FPS, but also just in terms of playability. Like with how dark this display is, it's really hard to make out details in the shadows. And there goes the power outage that we were sure was probably coming at some point today. Oh boy. Winds peaking at 100 kilometers an hour, blasting trees and knocking down power lines. A houseboat adrift after being torn from its moorings. DC Hydro warning that some homes and businesses may not get their power back for days. So I'm going to make my best attempt at an Ivan joke. So you might say that the laptop was so OP that the power went out. Well, I would usually make you into like, this laptop is so full of OPness. So we had to throw out the results we were forgetting last time because they all switched to battery power in the middle of the run. So we'll be back with you in a moment here. So this is interesting. Our similar price Nitro 5 comes in at just 2/3 the average frame rate of our overpowered machine, and with other significant disadvantages as well, including a weaker CPU, as well as a worse screen. But then, moving up into the original pricing of our overpowered, well, it wasn't really that competitive, because due to the faster clock speed of our GPU over here, we still ended up with higher frame rates, even though this one has an inferior CPU. So this one is, I think the official one is actually 1600, but you can find it for about 1400 on Amazon. Just to validate what I was saying before, we popped out of the game and had a look at what core clocks we were running at during the benchmark, and yes, in fact, the overpowered machine is running anywhere from 50 to about 80 megahertz slower on the GPU in actual games. Last result, this came in for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and this is interesting. So, average frame rates, again, our $800 machine, like true $800 machine, is way slower than our rolled back $800 machine, and that one falls a little bit behind Asus's, particularly in the minimum frame rates. Interesting. Let's do one more game. So I'm sitting in the 130, 140 FPS range. What are you sitting at right now? 160, 150, 160. So when we're running into a CPU bottleneck, we can see here that our Core i5 8th Gen is actually not that far behind. So we're running at 1080p and all high with 60 nits isotopic filtering. So, okay, so only about 20 FPS difference. Now let's take our two $1,400 gaming laptops. Man, that high refresh rate display makes a big difference. Like, holy crap. So not only am I lower than last time, but the Asus machine is absolutely crushing it. It's well over 200 frames per second to 40. Okay, I can stand the same spot. It's like 80 FPS high. Did you know this was going to happen? Nope. So there's clearly some power management or some kind of profile issue going on here. So here, I'm not going to have Task Manager running in the background. Let's make sure that you don't have extra background crap running. Probably I know why. Well, I just want to know what the frame rate is, because honestly, Task Manager isn't that bad. Not much, but it's a little bit. I think it's a couple percent. Yeah, but let's do 200. This is like, I'll tell you what, let's both have it open. Yeah, fine. What's sucking up all my memory? CSGO is using 1.3 only. That doesn't even make any sense. I know what it is. No, it's not. What the? Okay, well, I'm channel yourself. Yeah, but they're both single channel. And this one's running faster. That's only 2400 megahertz. What is going on here? Okay, let's just go ahead and once again, so let's make sure we're running the same settings though. Okay, so the same. So let's go back. Let's try again. Ooh, snowballs. So I'm back up to like 160, like we had on our first run. I also want to just kind of feel the experience because, to be clear, even if it runs at a lower frame rate than that one, it's only got 144 hertz display, like it's. So I'm still at 130, 140, 150-ish. 190, 180. And you're at, really? Okay, so why don't we stand here and smoke this doorway? So I'm at 140 and you're at 170. Honestly, I think we're ready to draw the conclusion at this point. Compared to another $1,400 laptop with some of the weirdness that we've encountered, I wouldn't take the overpowered, with the keyboard being honestly the biggest issue for me personally because I do a lot of typing. With that said, compared to an $800 laptop, this is crazy because I am about to recommend a Walmart OP gaming device. Because compared to what you get for $800, this absolutely mops the floor with it, both in terms of the features, like the 144Hz display, and in terms of the performance, anywhere from nearly double to about 50% better. So that just happened. That just happened right now, but only because they rolled back the pricing. So you heard it here first, folks. Get them while they're hot, and then otherwise don't get them. Don't get them when they're not hot and on sale. Speaking of hot, this video is brought to you by our hot sponsor, your favorite e-tailer. Oh yeah, Memory Express. Whether you're a gamer, business owner, or anyone else who just like needs electronic stuff from time to time, Memorex is the place to go in Canada. If it runs on electricity, there is a great chance that they've got it in store. And with their Uber price speed guarantee, they'll beat the price of any authorized Canadian retailer by 10% of the difference, both in store and online. So go check them out at the link in the video description. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button. If you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, and then you can consider checking out our other stuff we feature in the link in the video description. Also down there is our merch store. Merch store! Whoa! Well, I know you guys usually just like kind of gloss over during this part, but these circuit board shirts that I've been wearing for the last like 3 months, you can finally get them. Merch store? What? No? Oh, no, not that one. Where'd that even come from? So here's your problem. On the one hand, you're a gamer, and you've got your gaming rig and your gaming monitor, and you've got some important gaming to do. And on the other hand, you're a total basic bitch, and you own that. So today is the basic gaming setup, where we will be creating the best gaming desk we can, with only products from Amazon Basics. Origin PC. Origin PC builds custom desktops, laptops with free 24/7 lifetime tech support, and it uses high-end brand name components like Samsung's 970 Evo Pro and .2 SSD. Visit Origin PC at the link below for a special offer. Okay, well, you don't have anything to put that on. Yeah, I know, I'm completing as much of the setup as I can right now. There. Why not utilize the Amazon Basics monitor stand? Oh, okay, so basically, if your monitor doesn't come with a height adjustable stand, or like, I mean, it doesn't have pivot, does it have, no, it doesn't do that either. So basically it's just height adjustable. I think it's in a nutshell. It has pivot. Well, I don't know, it's hardy hand, can't. It's advertised only supporting 24-inch monitors, but I've read you can put a 27-inch on there, but your mileage may vary in terms of the pivot. You might not be able to get into portrait mode. But who has a 24? Have we investigated whether it is actually cost-effective to buy a cheapo monitor and then put a basic stand on it? See, this is the thing. I'm not sure how many people actually need this. On the one hand, it seems super obscure. But on the other hand, Amazon's making this product. So it must be in demand. This is the whole thing with Amazon Basics, that they do the most in-demand stuff. Okay, they did it. Oh, it's not like, I wouldn't describe this thing as amazing. You don't need them. Well, it's a little too heavy. Oh, God. So you're gonna have to tilt it for sure. Okay, I'll hold the base. The base is not very heavy. Wait a second. I think we're gonna make it. Boom. Not bad. I wonder if people are trying to rotate it like this, and they're not realizing that on even a lot of like factory stands, you have to tilt in order to rotate. And I'll give you an Amazon Basics DisplayPort cable. How much is one of these gonna cost me? $6. Depends on the length, though. That's a 6-footer. That's not bad. It's only outfitted for a DisplayPort 1.2 though, so even though it has the same bandwidth as 1.4, there are some features. I mean, the thing with that though is that there's no actual pin difference, so it's just a matter of like what they're comfortable rating it at. It's quite possible it works just fine for DP 1.4. It just might not. Wow, we bought a PC power cord. I hope it didn't cost much. We literally have a gigantic Rubbermaid in these. Yeah, but do they have the Amazon Basics? Is that actually Amazon Basics? No, I think it's a pretty generic ass power cord. Oh, it's $7. A lot of people were giving it 1 star because they said that these holes were too small. What? I think they're trying to just plug into it. Aww. So for those of you out there who are even more basic than me, that's how it is intended to be used, and it works just fine. Nice stub fit. Perfectly adequate. Basic, but adequate. The other end is going to go into... three outlet surge protector wall cap with 2 USB ports. So you plug that bad boy into your wall outlet, and you get a quick charging, a regular charging, and 3 outlets. Now to be clear, I'm not recommending plugging a wall cap into a power squid, but we're not really doing a lot of power here, so it's fine. That's 1 amp, that's 2.4 amps. The second thing to keep in mind is that the top negative comment is entitled Lit My House on Fire. There. Safe. The Amazon Basics cable sleeve with zipper. 20-inch black 4-pack. So this is actually kind of cool. Basically, you just put your wires in there, and you zip it up. Now that you got that set up, it's time for you to sit down in your $70 Amazon Basics chair. I have a chair? They have lots of different chairs. This one was just kind of cheap and easy. Actually, it's not that bad. I will say that the cushioning down here, this is a pretty, it's a pretty hard, like a pretty firm cushion, which is actually a better thing than you might expect, because if you have like a really plush cushion, what happens to it over time is it just becomes not really a cushion, and then you're just sitting on a piece of what is usually plywood on the bottom. Amazon Basics microfiber cloth for electronics. How many things did you buy? The next thing is pretty much the reason we actually made this video, because we made this. This is the Amazon Basics mechanical feel gaming keyboard. Okay, so it's got 5 programmable macro keys. This should be worth about $27.95. It's 36. Okay, well, it's not far off. I'm not happy with that though. If you remember a mechanical keyboard, yeah, no, I wouldn't buy this. There was a bunch of actual mechanical keyboards. I mean, granted they used Chinese switches, but still, they're in the $40 range, $45. Maybe they're trying to go for mechanical sound, because you've got a couple keys that sound kind of, you can't like loud. Loud. I think what they should call this is the loud membrane keyboard. That was $7 mouse. Followed by the 3-button USB wired mouse. Oh, you made poor Tyler inventory all this stuff? Oh, a desk pad. Alright. What do you think would be a good price for that? I paid $14.99. Well, you actually did pay $24.99. So that's their anti-fraying strategy. It seems to be to burn it. And they end up with you have to put a noticeable, so there's a shine in the end of the camera. You know what? I wouldn't buy this natural. I would just buy something cheap. You know it. Oh. That's too bad. Maybe what you need is the RJ45 and the inventory is closed. No, multiple keys on minus. My links on a single node. You know what? I don't prefer the USB Wi-Fi adapter, but I'll open it anyway just to humor you. Adorable. Happy to see me. Okay, this seems fine. Are you sure? This is a little stiff actually. This is not an amazing cable. The jacket is prone to cracking, and when it does crack, it'll crack along the length of the cable. On a cable this short, like 15 feet, it's less of an issue. Where you really run into trouble with these cheap outer jackets is when you have a longer cable, and you don't, even if you over under it, when you wind it up for storage, you'll still run into a situation where you try to kind of throw it down, and it's just a kinky mess. I probably wouldn't buy this either. I've had my disputes with monoprice over the years, but credit where credit's due, their cheap cables are less cheap. How much battery do you have on your phone there? 62%? Oh, you could probably use a little charge here too. Use an Amazon Basics USB-C, USB-C cable. It's a little better than the network cable. I wouldn't describe it as amazing though. To their credit though, they're using the more expensive connector housings that don't have the split down the one side. They cost a little more. Okay, well there was supposed to be a gaming headset, but I think it's a pretty new Amazon Basics product, so it takes between 1 and 3 months to ship. Yep, so even though you got it in October, it's not here until like mid-December. So I did get you a little Bluetooth speaker. A portable Bluetooth speaker. Great. But that's not enough for your desktop setup? Micro B. Did it not have like a soundbar or something? It really does not sound very good. The 4K HDR model. So this is interesting. It seems like the way that the audio profile is tuned, even in its standard profile, it's really emphasizing vocals, and I can barely even hear the background music of this video. You notice that? Like it's just like a dialogue enhancer for your TV. I mean, PC gaming's so complicated, why not just stick to console gaming? Oh wow, they do an Xbox One controller? Oh, that is a weird texture. Oh, yeah. So you're right. It's got like a really kind of grippy kind of feel to the back here. Those are loud. Oh. Those are really loud. Is this RGB backlit? Okay, so it has different modes that can go off. Okay, there's a different color. This is breathing. Different colors, yeah, RGB. Okay. Is that it? Well, I think if you want more functionality, you need to install Amazon Basics keyboard software. The keyboard is not good. The soundbar is not good. Unless I was just trying to hear, the weather channel better, The other thing with the soundbar is that it's supposed to come with a remote, but ours just didn't. Oh, what the? Oh, wow, I just got killed by Easy Bots. Anyway, I can't stand to watch you struggle with that free click basic mouse. Yeah, they do make a gaming mouse. I do prefer the mouse to the keyboard, so there's that. We get, presumably, DPI adjustments. We get a back and forward button, which are, I would consider basic features in the year 2018. Not present on this one. And we also get a braided cable, which I was recently made aware that not everyone prefers, because apparently they can get snag stuff. In my experience, I don't really get my braided cable strangled. It also has onboard memory, so you can save different things on the go. Cool. And 32 DPI. And $24. Actually feels a little bit jittery at super high sensitivity. It's definitely more comfortable than the other one. Quite heavy, though. Like, surprisingly heavy, given how, well, basic it is. This is too boring. You should be yelling at your teammates with this. USB condenser microphone. All right. More basic. The most gratuitous packaging in the whole lot. It's got one of those standard mounts so that you can put it on an arm if you're into that sort of thing. It actually has height adjust as well. Oh, okay. Oh, boy. Tighten it up. Give it a chance. You know what? It actually does straighten out a fair bit. So this is what I would sound like if I was yelling at my teammates. Actually talking more normally to my teammates. You can see I peaked a little bit there, so we're going to go ahead and experience that. Nope, that's not. Oh, wow. And that is, let's see, that's quite a bit quieter now, and we are getting up into the yellow range less often. So in my, like, broadcast, thank you for that. These next two things are kind of better if you are trying to get a one-core solution for your laptop, like docking your laptop and making it into a desktop you might want. Or these. You know, this is a weird complaint, but this cord is kind of long. You wouldn't be saying that if you were trying to plug it into the back of your Corsair 1 right now. That's true. So what it should really be is detachable. It should be a Type-C and Type-C, and then it should just come with a cable and you should be able to swap it out. That would be better. There, there's our basic placement for it. So this is a USB 3 external hard drive enclosure. So you can provide your own hard drive. Comes with a couple of home inserts, which are presumably keep your hard drive safe and messy. But the majority, that part is plastic. This is what this is. This is what holds your drive. That is very basic. And $20 is probably fine. This is very low quality USB cable that's included, but that is very thin for a USB cable. So the size with the branding and not the like SEC sticker on it goes down if you don't want to put like strain on the connector or have your drive supported by just this one point here. So I don't like this one very much. And this. Oh, the external hard drive case. Yeah, this is very mediocre. For $6 it's fine. For any more than that I would probably opt for something else. The Amazon Basics multi-tip stylus for touchscreen devices. That's an interesting idea. So multi-tip stylus, instead of just shipping it with multiple tips, they just used every possible end of a pen-type device to put a different tip. So you got a big fat one, you got a medium one, and you got a skinny one. Yeah, which is that's 7, 6, and 5 millimeters. Okay, so you could go fat skinny, fat medium, or skinny medium. But there's kind of a lot of mush to them. I don't think any of these are really fine or sharp enough to really write with. You probably have more success if you had a nice, comfortable Amazon Basics footrest. Actually, that feels not bad. It's got grip unlike the IKEA ones that we use here at the office. It's not as high though, I don't think. I'll give it a shot. Also, one thing I already don't really like about it is that it swivels too easily. A lot better overall feel and the stiffness on the floor than the IKEA one. But if you just kind of, man, I don't even know, if you just took like some silicone crap and just kind of like gummed it up a little bit or something, I think you could, for less than $1, you could DIY it better. Ow, ow. This is 5,000 sheets of Amazon Basics paper. Why? It's fine. Take your new Amazon Basics stapler for a spin. Why a staple tip, ladies and gentlemen? Really? Is it like it's a safety mechanism? Well, that sucks because often, like, if you want to staple something to the wall or whatever, you open up the stapler and you just, oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, the shoulder was so loud. Yeah. Like, this is not great. Ooh. I mean, I still managed to score one goal. Yeah, go on this part. So how do you feel about your $21? $21, you know what, for $21 I'm pretty okay with it, quite frankly. So how do you feel overall about your new basic battle station? You know, I like the DisplayPort cable. One advantage we didn't mention before is that it doesn't require the lock. So it's just a self-locking one. You don't have to deal with like pressing the thing in order to unlatch it. These cable management sleeves, honestly, if you're trying to get something done quick, they can improve the look of behind your desk a fair bit. Come on, now, yeah, like that helps a lot. And I like the monitor stands, believe it or not. I think at $40, I'd probably rather have one of the ones that just clip onto the desk personally, but you don't want that. If you just want to convert a base mount monitor to this or replace the broken stands, honestly, I'm okay with that one. The gaming mouse is alright, actually. I think it's too heavy to really like game on it. Like I would consider it more like just a mouse. But it's fine. The grip on the side makes it easy to lift off, even though it is a little bit on the heavy side. Not a big fan of the keyboard. Biggest point on the keyboard. At $20, this is fine. I actually stopped noticing that stepping on my arm pretty quickly. Maybe I was just busy filming a video and wasn't paying attention, but it seems like less of a big deal now that I'm. The mileage may vary. The mileage may vary. That's a good cable. That's working. This cable seems fine. I don't know. There isn't really any conclusion. Like none of it really like blew me away, but none of it was complete and utter garbage. Actually, a couple of them were pretty bad. The Ethernet cable was bad. I wouldn't use this hard drive dock, and I wouldn't buy this keyboard. There are much better keyboard options. Didn't blow me away. But you know what does blow me away? Squarespace. My amazing segues. Right? Yeah, to Squarespace. With Squarespace, you can create a beautiful and functional website without the hassle. They have award-winning templates that you can use as starting points, and all of their templates feature responsive design, so they'll look great on any device. If you need additional help, Squarespace offers 24/7 tech support via live chat and email. And this is cool. If you already have a third-party domain, you don't have to give it up. You can just transfer it over to Squarespace. Plus, every site includes e-commerce, so you can have your own online store through Squarespace. So go try it out over at squarespace.com/LTT, and you'll get 10% off on your first purchase. We're gonna have that link below. So thanks for watching, guys. If you dislike this video, you can hit that button if you like it. If you like, get subscribed, or link to check out one of our buy stuff we featured at the link in the video description. Also down there is our merch store, just cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. 1. Yeah, oh, you know this case. No, I don't. Oh, okay. So should we start with that? Yeah, let's take it out of the box, I guess. Like, the idea here is we're just gonna build this thing. Yeah, okay. And you've never built it before. Nope. So a lot of the time when writers prepare a video, they do a lot of the preparation. Yeah, I heard that they do that ahead of time. But today we're just YOLOing it. Yeah, well, it's fun to prepare, but you know, it's fun to keep life spicy too. That sounds like mistake number 2. We're gonna have a mistake counter. Yeah. High-end PCs are pretty cool. Yeah, they can trace waves with the best of them. But they have one major problem. They're expensive. Most people don't think about that. That's what we did. So we set out to build the least expensive PC possible with components that we could buy on Amazon.com. Yep, I literally went to Amazon.com, searched the name of the components, sorted by price, and ordered whatever was cheapest at that time. And this is it. So it's time to figure out whether what we ordered was an actual PC or whether we made a horrible mistake. Speaking of horrible mistakes, not checking out our sponsor for today's video, Antlion. Their new mod-like wireless features a low-latency, high-quality connection, LED status indicators, up to 12 hours of battery life, and more. Check it out at the link in the video description. Okay, so I couldn't just go to Amazon.com and literally pick the cheapest option because they have to be compatible. If this is the cheapest case, and this is the cheapest board, then we're just going to have to put them together. Totally fair. So this is a LGA 775 socket motherboard. It's a Dell PowerEdge server board. Okay, yes. So, and that's going to be compatible with our CPU, which is a Core 2 Duo E8400 from Intel. Are you sure? What? That's going to be compatible? Most server boards from that generation were LGA 771. That is a good point. I've never seen that before. And this is a locking floppy disk. Oh, cool. This is locking IDE. Oh, cool. You want to get some close-ups? She's right, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God. So this is an Insignia. Doesn't weigh much more than a box, does it? Try it. Oh, well. You know what? Since I'm tired of being dunked on, look at this. It's a hard drive. It's probably perfectly functional. I'm pretty sure it's new. Why are you asking questions like that? I didn't know there's only 160 gig hard drive. We have a single DDR2 DIMM that is 2 gigs big. This is not ECC, and this is a server board. Oh, my God. No, it's just a... And that says memory ECC DDR2. Wait, chipset. That's not the socket. Wait, that's not that. 800 megahertz for Pentium 4. Well, hold on a second. This might actually be 775, but oh my God, this is a Pentium board. I don't believe this will work with a Core 2 Duo. The graphics card is a blazing fast AMD Radeon 6350. Alright, how much does this cost us? This cost us a whopping, actually, $2888. Wow, it's the most expensive part out of all of them, which is great news to hear when it might not even work. You know this is not DVI, right? Yeah, this is a different port that is, everyone knows is not DVI. You have actually done something today that hasn't happened in a while. You've shown me 3 tech things that I have never seen before in a single sitting. That could be the title of the video. I've never seen this before. This port, these, like, doohickeys on the IDE things, yes, cooler mount. Oh, you've never seen that? I've never seen that. See? And I've never seen it either. Yeah, well, we do have some other processors that might work, Linus. Look at this wonderful selection of Pentiums and one Celeron. So a lot of these are newer. New Pentium, old Pentium. Pretty a little different. Okay, here's what I think we have to do. We have to order the cheapest one for us. That's true. We have to stay true. We have to, yeah, stand strong. Okay, so then there's going to be some movie magic, and we'll get back to this next week, I guess. So this is attempt number 2. Wait, this is the old stuff. Are we even using this anymore? Yeah, no, we're not using that. Put that away. I never want to see it again. This is also meant for a pre-built system, right? But as you can see, it's a little more of a normal layout motherboard meant for the regular micro ATX form factor. Yeah. It actually has front panel connector pins on it, so we can short. Yeah, we're gonna have to guess at them a little bit, but at least there's something to guess at, indeed. Wow, we did PCI Express 16X slot this time. Good job, right? I did it. You still got the graphics card of doom here. Same AMD Radeon 6350 with a DNS connector. So we know what the connector's called. DNS 59. DNS 59. DNS gonna give it to you. No. This connector, curiously, is one that's meant to drive 2 displays by default. So that's why both adapters go from one DNS 59 and to 2 of the other thing. Yeah. VGA, digital interface. Ooh. Okay, what else did we change? Okay, and the last one we changed was the RAM. We have real DDR2 non-ECC RAM. So that was probably a server board. It was only compatible with ECC RAM. Also, this is DDR3. You know this, right? What? What are you talking about? I haven't written in the script DDR3, alright? I'm just... Okay, so everything's here. Yep. Should we build it? I hope we can. They fit in the holes. It's like they were actually designed to fit together. Pow! Yeah. Boom! Pow! Yeah, dual channel, baby. 4 gigs of RAM? Yep. We paid $8 for 4 gigs last time. Right. And now we're up to 18. $10 more for so we paid an extra $13. What? Plus the adapters. Which I actually don't have in here. Mine do, but I think they're like $3. Hey, okay! It's kind of coming together now. Looks like this might be a PC. I mean, that's not a great indicator, but it's on. Which is farther than we got last time. Sweet music. Yeah, oh man, I need like a piece of cake or something. So annoying. What, new RAM? Yeah, it's worth a shot. I honestly don't know. Give it a shot. This is pretty much our most compatible DDR3 RAM. Satisfactory. Okay, everybody! Objective. Complete power upgrade 4. Note, use power code. Okay, so we got a tray full of LGA, I think they're LGA 775 Pentiums. And the $69 gaming PC. Because that, I think it had an E7500 in it. Oh, yeah, okay, sure, try it. Let's, you know what that seems promising? That is? Yes, that's the E7500. Oh, well, let's try that first. Do we know that this one works? That was what was originally in the $69 gaming PC. Great, I was there. And I was there, too. Alright. Yeah, that's great. I don't have to put the heatsink on to know if this works any better. Okay, I can have the RAM from $69 gaming PC too. Let's just... Eventually we just put all the components in. Samsung quality here. What? It's a different beep! Why? It's a different beep! This is HP OEM memory. Anthony checked it. Anthony should have known better. That's the memory you had while we bought was HP memory! No. Okay, wait, I don't want to give him. OEM system builders you in a couple of different ways. Wait, first, they f*** with their motherboard, making it not compatible with other things. Then, they f*** with your upgrade components because they want you to buy their specific upgrade compatible thing to put in their system, but then they also f*** you again when you try and buy their thing and put it in some other system. So every memory module has what's called an SPE chip, and what that has is all the information that the system needs about the memory, and they can actually program it in such a way that it's like, oh, that's not the system I was expecting. known that this is what this video was. That would be smooth. Smooth sailing. Buy the cheapest that you can. We go buy the cheapest thing you can possibly find on Amazon. And you gotta be hunky-dory. Honestly, what I kind of expected was for you to buy the cheapest brand new things. And I meant the cheapest thing in a given category, but like on 2018, new. Yeah, like in a box with a manual and an IO shield. Well, we could do that. That'd be a different video. Yeah, we could. Cheapest PC on Amazon. Part 2. I swear it's less cringe this time. Oh my god. Hey, not bad. Did we make it all the way to the desktop? Linus! Tech tips. I am vindicated. Welcome. Welcome to a functioning PC. Do we have gigabit RAM? It is. It's gigabit. It's Broadcom and Net Extreme gigabit. That's the good kind. Extreme! Okay, so the first thing we want to know is what exactly the crap graphics card this is. I know what it is. I have that information. You can actually look it up faster than I can check in Device Manager because of how slow this thing is. It's a Radeon 6350. Turns out this is actually a Radeon 5450. So it might have been mislabeled on your listing there. But that's what it shows up. I got swindled. Get him! Nice, dude. Okay. Let's move on. Dota 2 was what we really wanted to do. You know, we do this and figure stuff out so you don't have to, guys. We save you from having to deal with 8 frames per second in the loading screen. You thought Anthem was bad. It still is. 29 frames per second, 720p, second lowest settings. Oh, no, there's 3 main characters. There's not that many. There's not that much. No, there's really not. But still, like, this is playable for a mobile, like 30 frames per second. Yeah, with bots. Offline. It's playable. That's true. Bump the settings down to lowest. Can you do that in game? Well, we're up to 50. Wow, and it looks even worse somehow. At the lowest settings and 720p. Okay, let's try Rocket League. Alright, 30 FPS. Hey! 30 FPS in the menu. Okay. Alright, play. Wow, it looks really bad. Oh, you better go 2v2 here, sir. I might go. Wait, where's the thought difficulty? Unfair 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah? Okay. Oof. You're getting 30 FPS though, so I don't want to hear no excuses here, bud. Oof. Oh my gosh, this is like, I feel like I'm on drugs right now. Oh, we're good. Good-ish. Dude, good as all. This is really bad. Can you beat 3 unfair bots? I have. This is quick, folks. This is how it's done. Look at this. This is how it's done. Oh, put the card in that. Alright, sports fans, this is why we all watch the game. Oh, Shepard! So what we're discovering here is that unless you're going to meet a certain sort of threshold for how much you're going to spend, there are certain components that are expensive to buy standalone, like a case, just because of the logistics of the thing. It's never going to cost below a certain amount. You gotta ship it and stuff. Whereas when you buy it as part of a bundle, it might contribute very little of the value of the total PC, as we saw with the $69 gaming PC. So we stand by our previous recommendation for low-budget gamers. Rather than trying to go on a retail site like Amazon, buy all the cheapest stuff, slap it together, and hope that you can get it working, we really recommend doing what we did last time, buying an already working computer, and then, if you've got the budget for it, even down the line, applying a few choice upgrades in order to smooth out the experience. So this was $150 just all the parts by itself, and that computer was $30 plus $30 plus another $60 for a GPU. Yeah, $120 altogether. We had a good gaming experience. That was a way better gaming experience. Way better. Terrible. Yeah. And for those of you out there being like, well, Linus, not everything is about gaming. Trust me, it's terrible for everything else. Speaking of terrible, wouldn't it be terrible if I didn't tell you guys about our sponsor for today's video? Someone takes A500 aluminum mid-tower case, takes a minimalist approach to its design with a brushed aluminum finish for a clean, uninterrupted look. Its hinged tempered glass panels on both sides of the case make it easy to show off your internals while keeping things classy, if you're more into that sort of thing. And the A500 supports radiators of up to 422 millimeters long in the front and up to 4 3.5 or 2.5 inch drives along the left side panel on top of the power supply cover. It includes a USB Type-C port on the front I/O, and you can check it out today at the link in the video description. So thanks for watching, guys. Really, thank you for watching. Thank you for accompanying us on this painful journey. But we had fun, didn't we? I learned a lot. We had fun. If you guys disliked this video, you can hit that button. But if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, and then you consider checking out one of the stuff we featured at the link in the video description. Also down there's our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and a community forum, which you should totally join. By the way, Anthony sent me an email, said he was exonerated by an email that he found. No, that's true. But apparently I signed off on memory. I confess I never clicked the link. Yeah. And the listing for it did not specify that it was HP system specific RAM, so I'm exonerated too. So everyone's exonerated. Wow. Except the Amazon seller. Yeah, stay away from them. Yeah. Buttons. Now, we know it's been done already, but come on, in fairness, we thought about doing this a long time ago. It just takes a while for stuff to ship from Wish.com. You guys loved our Amazon and mono-price PC build so much that we couldn't resist the urge to do it again, but with a sketchier twist. So, strap on, guys, because I can pretty much guarantee that this is not going to go according to plan. Speaking of unplanned, I should have planned a better segue to our sponsor, Glasswire. With Glasswire, you can monitor the apps on your PC to see if any of them are suspicious or behaving badly. Check it out at the link below and use offer code Linus to get 25% off Glasswire. Alright, step 1, put on my LTT hoodie. LTT Telecom. Step 2, let's start unpacking this stuff. So first up is our case. You can tell that it's super high quality because even with my weak sauce left arm, I am easily manhandling it here. Go ahead and do a nice little peel for you guys. Oh, that was not a good peel. You know what, the case though actually feels better quality than the plastic. Ooh. Oh crap, I bent it. So I was holding it by the IO cutout. Actually worked it a little bit. I think I'll pick it up the way you're intended to from now on. Features-wise though, this actually doesn't look that bad. We've got 3 front USBs, including a USB 3, power reset, front ports. We've got, wow, an easily removable magnetic fan tilt through for a couple of 120mm fans up here. It actually includes what appears to be a 120mm RGB fan, although it may just be that the label is red, green, and blue. The side panel mounts in like this tempered glass style, but this is in fact an acrylic side panel. And then check this out. It's got that punched-out style back panel, so you've actually got a little bit of room for cable management back here. I mean, not a ton, but a little bit is better than nothing. That is a weird fan. Like it's a 120mm frame, but those blades are tiny. So this is what I'm talking about. Look how big the blades are on that 120mm versus the other one. It's like a 90mm fan in a 120mm frame. It's got this like thick frame on it. It's weird. Now this is a cool feature. You've actually got color coding on your switches and your LEDs here. And it seems to correspond to the colors that at least some manufacturers use. I'm pretty sure Asus uses blue for reset. How much should we pay for this thing? 97 years old. 9 what? So apparently cases are not actually a great deal on Wish.com. At least it has a tempered glass front panel. Alright, let's open up our next mystery package here. Ah, motherboard. What is with all the bubble wrap around this thing? mean, it still looks like it got drop kicked. So there's a couple takeaways here. One, all the extra packaging seems to be justified. And two, the way that they're applying the extra packaging is not very effective. Oh, so that's interesting. Yeah, this motherboard is not that at all. Full testing, okay. Alright. So this is clearly a very used board. Was it clear from the listing that it was going to be used? Okay, how much did we pay for this bad boy?
$46.
$46 for an 861 board? That's not even a good deal. Why are people buying this stuff? I'm like, do you know how much these socket covers cost if you buy them in bulk? I know. Pennies. They put a piece of paper in. Look at this. That's it. That's their socket cover. Now, in fairness, it doesn't look like there are any dent pins, so that's good, but still not how I would have preferred it done. Alright, we also apparently have a CPU, and it comes in what looks like a compact flash card case, which I guess is kind of cute. It's an Intel Core i3 2130. I guess this was just what CPU they had that was compatible with what board they had, kind of thing. How much did we pay for this guy?
$49.
$50. Seriously? This is a ripoff. So already, for the price of the CPU and motherboard, we probably could have gotten like an old Dell Business PC that would have included case, power supply, probably a drive, some RAM, and we could have just like thrown a graphics card in it, but whatever. So I was informed before we started that I actually have two options for coolers. I have this Great Wall heatsink cooler. I am kind of liking this. This is actually very similar to the old Zalman flower coolers that used to be popular back in the socket 754 days. So that's candidate number one. And candidate number two is actually an AIO liquid cooler. I mean, it shouldn't surprise me given that they're all basically made in China anyway. But this looks very, very similar in materials and construction to what you get from an AIO cooler that you purchase just normally off of Amazon or whatever. Tubing-wise, like, seems like the materials they're using are okay. It feels like an aluminum radiator. It's pretty light, but that should be fine. Except that there's a copper block, except that some manufacturers do that. I don't know what they're doing. It's crazy. Okay, you know what? If the AIO fits, then we're going to go with that. But it's no guarantee that we're going to be able to get it in here because even though this does have an ounce for dual 120 millimeter fans up here, that doesn't mean that there's going to be enough clearance once we install a power supply. And no, in fact, there isn't. So it looks like we cannot use our AIO cooler, and we are unfortunately going to be stuck with our regular heatsink. So how much for each of those?
So the air cooler was $70 and the AIO $80.
So our theme continues of our prices not necessarily being outlandishly bad on these ones. I'd say $80 for like a, I don't know, kind of decent looking AIO is fine, but it's certainly not special. So it should just be a matter of throwing clips on here. And clip one, and clip two. Give it a little wiggle. And clip in. Did we also buy RAM off this? Oh. There it is. Oh wow, that is some, hey, wait a second. Wait a second. I'm pretty sure that they don't have the rights to use this image. So this is the Secchi High Performance DDR. And you can tell that they're really high budget and care a lot about their packaging when they use the same packaging for everything from DDR3 1333 to DDR4 3200. Like, it's some of this. Something like that. Let's go ahead and install this stuff. So this is DDR3 1333. I'm super glad we spent money on this. How much did we spend? $40 on 8 gigs. You know what? I think that's actually not entirely reasonable. The funny thing about memory is when like a new memory stack, like DDR2 or DDR3 or whatever, just comes out, it's really expensive. And then it gets cheap when the entire market adopts it. Then it gets expensive again when it becomes like old technology and it's more niche. Alright, so there we go, friends. I'm going to plug our case fan into the bottom of the motherboard here. Wow, that's really curious. This case, you know, it actually looked okay at the start there. But it is pretty unexceptional. But check this out. Our bottom fan here, which is pre-installed, and it seems to me that the reason it's pre-installed is that almost none of the other fan mounts are even going to be accessible because of the tempered glass panel here and the power supply here actually interferes with what would be the bottom slot if we had a full 4-slot NETX motherboard. Like this thing is not very well thought out at all. Now seems like a good opportunity to get back to our solid-state drive. It's another of the Secchi product. This is the V800 256G. At least this one is clearly labeled. But I do have to wonder if this is kind of an old box. Like, didn't SandForce get acquired like 1,000 years ago by someone? I'd be surprised if it even uses a SandForce controller. Wow. Oh, it just comes apart. Maybe we can see what it uses. This is nothing to do with SandForce whatsoever. It's a Silicon Magic controller, but not the one that's listed online, which is actually good because at least this one's SATA 3, unlike the SATA 2 one that it says this product uses. Unfortunately, this is in fact a DRAM cashless SSD. There's no RAM on it whatsoever. And we did a video about that a while back explaining why that is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. And in some cases, you might even get better performance out of a mechanical hard drive compared to a cashless SSD. So, there you go. I mean, it's nothing we didn't already know about. We wouldn't recommend this. Let's install it in our computer. How much did I pay for that? $56? I mean, capacity for capacity, that's not a terrible deal, but for like a piece of crap SSD like this one, that's not a good deal. Oh boy. When your SLI still uses a lowercase I because you haven't updated any of your materials since like 2010? Oh boy. Now let's have a look at our connectors here. So, we've got 2 leads, each of which are Molex and a SATA. Wow, this wiring. It's so cheap. Even the plastic for the connectors feels cheap. On a positive note, I do think we have all the connectors we need. 4 pins for the CPU, 24 pins for the motherboard, 6 pins for, oh wait, graphics card. So, this one, we're pretty sure is a ripoff. Actually, how much did, speaking of ripoff, how much did I pay for this piece of garbage? $31? That's overpriced. Not that you should ever use even like a good $31 power supply in like a decent machine. Power supply is one of those things that's just not worth it to cheap out on. And wow, look at this thing. So if I had to guess, I would say that this is a 460 Ti or a 560. What is it?
That is a 1060.
A 1060? It doesn't even have a 6-pin power connector on it. 1060 my ass. Wait, NVIDIA's 10 series doesn't even have VGA support. Oh, you. How much did I pay for this?
It's $45.
$45, so at least the price was right. Alright, let's go ahead and install this piece of hot garbage. Now, normally your power supply is supposed to be the one that comes with your mounting screws, but either they fell out of the gaping hole in the bottom of the box, or they just weren't included. So what we're going to do is we're going to salvage a couple of what appear to be power supply compatible screws, but that seem to have been intended for expansion cards. So what's our total bill for the tower?
So the air cooler is $380.
$380 with the air cooler option. That is brutal. That is so much more than I would pay for this. Now our PC is done, but what we still don't know is how true any of the manufacturer's claims were about their products. To find that out, we're going to have to actually install Windows on it and fire it up. But before we can do that, of course, we're going to need some peripherals. Let's start with the Zulang Wolf Rainbow Light K16 game keyboard. Wow. This This may be the lightest keyboard that I have ever felt. Then also from the same brand, I think, although this time it's in Chinese instead of English, but it's the same logo here. We've got some kind of gaming mouse, I guess. That is quite literally the spongiest click that I have ever felt on anything. You can see a lot of that travel is being absorbed by the PCB underneath. See how much that port is moving? That is grody. Okay, this I've actually seen. This mouse pad is a pretty good deal. Alright, how much did the peripherals cost us?
Depends on $56.
And that includes the mouse pad? Well, at least the price is right for the peripherals, because these are definitely like $10 worthy peripherals over here. Alright, so this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Our epic gaming setup is now ready for a Windows install and a gaming test. We'll be right back. Alright, so we're getting some games downloading, we're going to get some drivers installed, but before we do that, I've got an update for you. This power supply was even worse than we expected. Not only did it suck, it didn't work at all, so we had to pull in this TX750 in order to get the system powered up at all. The good news is that once we did that, we were at least able to get Windows installed. Yeah, it's clear by this point this is not a build that you guys would want anyway, but get subscribed if you're not already, because we're going to have a Ryzen build guide coming up pretty soon. It's going to be more by the book. So, now let's take some time to explore what kind of hardware we've really ended up with here. So we'll fire up hardware info, fire up our device manager, and see what we're looking at. One thing I figured out already is this computer is not very fast. Alright, so we're going to start with device manager here. You can see all of our drivers auto-installed for like our chipset and all that kind of stuff. It's all the hardware, so Windows just knows what to do with that. So it turns out this is in fact the Core i3-2130, so that's good, I guess. Okay, alright, so ready for that, blah, blah, everything here looks fine, but we don't have a GPU driver yet, so that's not showing up. So it says here, we've got a GTX 1050 Ti, and we actually got the NVIDIA drivers unpacking in the background here, but we fire up hardware info, and this is hilarious. 10-grid processor, fake, NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti fake. It's not, one fake is not enough for this, two fakes. So this is a GF116, which if I recall correctly, is Fermi. That is an old GPU. Unfortunately, because it's not reporting anything here, we have no way of knowing at this time which one it is. So the only way to find out is going to be to try and get some real drivers installed so that it can hopefully identify itself correctly. So let's try the NVIDIA installer here and see what happens. Oh wow, it successfully installed the driver. It still reports as a 1050 Ti. Interesting. So I thought we were actually going to have to install off the included driver disk with like these hacky drivers on it. So that looks really legitimate. But it seems like the driver did manage to install, and they have even tricked NVIDIA control panel into thinking this is a 1050 Ti. Now with that said, we haven't tried to launch a game yet. Alright, so we run into our first hiccup. While attempting to press Alt-Z to see just a quick and dirty frame counter in the game, I got into GeForce Experience here and went to configure my settings. And theoretically, we meet the system requirements because we have a 600 series or higher. But in practice, the configuration button just doesn't work. And when you go to press Alt-Z, nothing comes up because no, this is not in fact a 600 series GPU. So we're just gonna have to eyeball it. Yay! Oh no! So the good news is this is running smoothly. The bad news is that this is Rocket League. It's not exactly known for being a particularly demanding title. And I'm done. We found our problem. Fermi only had HDMI 1.3. So that was limited to 2048 by 1536 at 75 Hz. That's a little bit, not quite enough for 2560 by 1440 60 Hz, which is the native resolution of this monitor. So when we try to run it, confusion ensues. So I think the last thing for us to do is figure out exactly what graphics card we're dealing with here. So we're going to go ahead and run 3D Mark. We're going to use the DirectX 11 Firestrike. And we're going to have a look at what kinds of systems perform similarly to ours in GPU performance. And it crashed. What can you tell me about this error? The workload produced no results. So this could be either of a couple things. It could be that 3D Mark was expecting the GPU to support features that it in fact didn't, and some kind of error occurred. Or it could be part of 3D Mark's anti-cheating procedures to double check if something is misreporting itself as something else, so that people couldn't, flash RTX 2080 Ti's to GTX 1050 Ti's and then, completely dominate the leaderboards. Either way, it looks like we will not, in fact, be able to run 3D Mark to validate what our graphics card is. Which at this point in the video, I think is fine anyway, because it really doesn't change the conclusion. Anytime you're buying something and what you get is not what it said it was, that's a bad deal. And frankly speaking, even most of the things that were what they said they were going to be weren't amazing deals either. So the old adage definitely holds true here. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. I think the cooler is about the only thing in this computer that I think is even remotely worth getting. It's got pretty cool RGB lighting effects, and for what, $17? I guess it's alright. Speaking of alright, our sponsor! Not worry! Ha! Get it! I don't have to say who's there, because I've got a Ring doorbell. Ring wants you to know who's at your front door without even getting up. And the Ring doorbell camera kit includes their video doorbell 2, spotlight cam, and solar security sign. The video doorbell 2 has a motion sensing camera with 1080p HD resolution and 160 degrees of vision. It features two-way audio, and it's powered by either battery or 8 to 24 volt AC doorbell wiring. The spotlight camera is 1080p as well, and features two-way talk as well as LED lights, battery or solar powered in this case, and it can also act as a siren. And their solar security sign is designed to act as a general deterrent, since they know that they're going to be monitored if they're going to be close to your property. The entire kit is great, since you can use it to turn away unwelcome guests, and my personal favorite, of course, is letting the unwelcome driver to know that wait, hold on a second, I'm coming! Don't leave with my package, I want it today! So get some peace of mind with the Ring doorbell camera kit. It's compatible with iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows, and we've got it linked in the video description. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to buy a GPU that's not a scam, check out our recent GPU buyer's guide. It covers everything that's current in the market at a bunch of different price points. See ya. Oh, my toe! Ah, sandals. Okay, so warning disadvantage. There you go, guys. I think that's where I hit it. So whatever happened here, someone was not happy about delivering this package. Welcome to what I hope is going to be an absolutely fantastic PC building stream today for a couple of reasons. Number one, I just love building PCs with you guys at home. After I did that first one like 3 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? This is fun. I've always liked building computers, and I guess building them for a live audience is even better than that. And number two is that this machine is one that I'm actually not going to just tear down as soon as I'm done. So we've been working on this in the background for a while now, but it is finally time to upgrade our video editing workstations. We do it on about not on purpose, but kind of by accident. We do it on a 3-year cycle. So we started out with, I think they were 3960X base stations. We upgraded to 6950Xs, and then now here we are, about 3 to 4, depending on how you count them, generations of Intel processors later, and we're upgrading them to Threadripper. Third-gen Threadripper workstations. So, there you go. I'm going to walk you guys through the specs as I go. I'm just going to get started because today's video is going to be a little bit more challenging for me than these screens normally are. And the big difference is that I'm going to be doing the whole build start to finish. So if you were going to build yourself a video editing workstation, you could follow along with exactly what I'm doing here. You would end up with exactly the same video editing workstation that I'm building with for yourself at the end of this. There's a couple things that you could change, and I'll go through that. Like I kind of usually do some alternatives if you don't need something that's quite as crazy. Yeah, we don't need those overclocking features, but on the other hand, when you're spending $1 grand on a CPU or $800 on a CPU or whatever the case may be, it ain't that big of a deal to get a nice motherboard that's going to last you a long time. It does have a couple of features that we will save some money just by having them integrated onto the board, including, I believe they, well, I really hope they do, because I'm sort of banking on it. I believe they have 10 gigabit networking built in. Yes, okay. So we've got 10 gig networking built in. We've got support for, I think it's up to 256 gigs of RAM, although we won't be going quite that crazy with our memory configuration for these builds. We've got support for a ton of M.2 drives, although again, we're only going to be using one of them for this particular build. You can throw two of them up here, and I believe we've got two more drives supported over here. There's one on the back, so I think there's one on the front, one on the back. There you go. So I think it's a total of four M.2s. Lots of PCI Express extension. I'm going to go into this in more detail in a follow-up video once we've got all the editors equipped with their finished rigs, and we're going to do some kind of comparisons between the old rigs and the new ones to see how far we've come in the last 3 years. But we have run into some issues with PCI Express extension on our workstations, where what happened was, depending on which slots some of our editors had their graphics cards and their 10 gig networking cards installed in, they were actually running into performance issues, not just with their network connection, but even system-wide. Really weird symptoms, and something that I honestly can't explain, but I know that I can fix by just switching to a platform that has bucket loads of PCI Express lanes. Also, I am more prepared for this stream than I have been for any of the previous ones, and I've got something real cool here. So I have a third camera angle, my friends, and I think my switcher is going to be working awesome. Yeah, all right. Ooh, that is real shaky. I'm going to try not to nauseate you guys too much, but if I want to show you anything close up, I'm going to be able to switch over to this webcam over here. That's right, I have three video angles. So let's start by installing our Threadripper processor. Now, you might assume that we would automatically go with the top-end 64-core Threadripper. Threadripper? Yeah, because we repping team rep, whatever. You might assume that we go with the 64-core Threadripper, but the truth is, for a lot of workloads, there is simply no benefit whatsoever to going over a certain number of cores. So not only did we not go with the 64-core, but to keep things reasonable, we actually went with the 3960X. So we went with the 24-core. That's, from what we've seen from our workload, that's a pretty good balance of high-end single-threaded performance, but also enough multi-threaded muscle to chew through pretty much whatever we could be doing, whether it's After Effects or video encoding or whatever the case may be. There was something that I had wanted to do. Oh, yeah, right. So I was going to give you guys that close up. I'm just going to take advantage of my extra cameras. Oh, LTPstore.com. Look at that. We actually don't have that. Just going on LTPstore.com. So there it is. Now I love their packaging for these processors. There's our 3960X. So each one of them is going to be equipped with 24 cores of AMD Threadripper muscle. Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and install it in the socket after this message from our sponsor, Joan. Thanks for Joan for sponsoring this video. They need more comfortable double booking rooms at the office, and now you can use them at home.
Our pre-baked sponsor spots that we would normally put in a full video release and throwing them on one of these live streams just because, like, I don't know, I'm having so much fun doing these live streams that I've been actually doing them during the middle of the week when normally we would have like an edited video. All right, so let's pull this out. Oh boy, it looks like the carrier tray for it has come loose. Oh man. Well, you know, today was bound to have some challenges. Here, I'll just give you guys a quick look at that. Just flexing all my camera angles here. All right, so basically what happens is AMD has these little carrier plates that come on their processors, and that helps you to slide it into the kind of the hold down piece and then lower that down, and then you tighten the whole thing down, because this is unlike their consumer chips, their high-end desktop and server chips use an LGA type socket, and it's huge. So getting an even amount of pressure on all those pins, on all those pads from all the pins is quite tricky and needs a fair bit of engineering work to make sure you're doing it right. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this puppy back on here. Oh, I just found a flaw in our CPU serializing system at the office. We actually serialize the carriers for these things. See, we have little codes that we put on here rather than the chips themselves. It seems like that is probably a slight oversight that we could stand to rectify. You know, I kind of wish I had a little stand for this, but I guess you guys are going to get to see me building with one hand sometimes while I need to operate the webcam. Now, I do have a concern. My concern is that the Torx driver for installing Threadripper processors might not be in my packaging here. You know what's funny? I don't know if I've ever actually been the first one to open one of our Threadripper chips, and I'm not 100% sure how to pop this bottom off. I think I got it. Uh-oh. There's no Torx driver. Okay, so, wow, yep. The good news is that I never start a build without my trusty iFixit kit on hand. The bad news is that I'm going to have to rely on muscle memory in order to torque the CPU down the correct amount, which is not something that I would recommend doing. This is a classic do as I say, not as I do moment here. Oh, I just realized I don't have my float plane chat up. Where is it? Hey, there it is. Sup, float plane boys and girls? There we go. Little blue button. Oh, okay, they're all advising each other how to fix the stream. Oh, shoot, that's not the one. All right, so let's go ahead and do this thing. So we're gonna open it up in the 3, 2, 1 order by reading the label on the socket. So the two at the back here. Man, I could stand to zoom that camera a little bit, couldn't I? You know, I think I'm gonna do that. Hey, there we go. Is that in focus though? Doesn't really look like it. There, how's that? There. Who says I can't operate a camera? Well, you're right. I can do the very basics. Very basics. All right. So we're gonna lift up this top cover here. Then we've got a socket protector. So you'll see this is exactly the same size and shape as the CPU you're going to put in, just a lot less expensive for them to ship preloaded to the motherboard. Then you've got your second socket protector. They are real super serial about not wrecking the like 4,000 some odd pins in the T-Rex 40 socket. And there it is. Load this baby in here. So like I had said before, you want to take this first layer here. Make sure the CPU is in the carrier properly before you do this, because like that's a classic, okay? Lining this up over the socket and then having the CPU just fall out into the socket. I'm pretty sure someone on our team had that happen to them once. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't me. Before you make assumptions, guys, it wasn't me. But I'm pretty sure someone had that happen to them, because they're just like kind of crummy plastic things. Like they don't stay in there that well. All right, so that positions the CPU in the right spot, and then this is the one that actually really holds you down. So we're gonna go ahead and close it. 1, 2, 3. Now it does say, you know, open 3, 2, 1, close 1, 2, 3, but it's not actually. You could do open 1, 3, 2. The point is just that you start here and then end up here at the back of the socket. And one thing to note is that I never, you know, do 1 all the way down, and then 2 all the way down, and then 3 all the way down, because then you're putting pressure like kind of like this, and then like this, and then like this. It's better to just kind of take it nice and slow and steady, wins the race on stuff like that. As long as you don't bend the pins or anything, kind of the worst thing that can happen at this stage of the game is you don't get even contact, and then you're going to have to go ahead and reseat the CPU in the socket later, because you might get some of your memory channels not firing up or something along those lines. So there you go. That's it. CPU's installed. Wow, that's super reflective. Definitely got some lights in here, but that's okay. I'm going to flex my other camera angle just like that. Man, I don't know what I was doing wrong with this webcam when I was first using it for some of these videos at home, where it was like running at some super, super weird low frame rate, but it seems fine now. Like, honestly, that looks, aside from being really shaky because I'm hand-holding it, it looks not bad anyway. All right, so now we're on to memory. This is overkill. We've got G-Skill sent over, so we've got a total of, I forget how many workstations it is that we're going to be building. I'm doing the first one here. I might end up doing some more of them, but for now I'm just doing one. But they sent over a bunch of these kits, and these are 32 gig by 4 kits. Total of 128 gigs of RAM in each of these workstations, which is freaking sick and totally unnecessary. But one of the advantages of going overkill today is that if we ever need to go even farther overkill, well, we're going to have that option, because we could go ahead and throw another 4 sticks. Throw another 4 sticks like this in there, and you could go to 256 gigs of memory. I'm actually not sure if I would recommend 256 gigs of unbuffered memory, but like, I mean, hey, I guess if it works, then I sits or whatever, right? One of the reasons that I'm a little bit more concerned about system upgradability this time around than the last time around is that Intel has a pretty predictable cadence for their platform upgrades. Basically, you get, and this has been true on both the mainstream and high-end desktop platforms over the last, boy, like almost 10 years. You get a new socket and like a new chip series, and then you get a refreshed chip series of some sort, and there have been some small exceptions. And then you get a new socket, a new chip series, and basically only the refreshes are backwards compatible with the previous generation motherboards. So every couple of generations, you're effectively getting a completely new platform that you can't really use the new chips in the old boards, or you can't use an old board with one of the new chips. With AMD, they have actually done a pretty good job so far of maintaining backwards and forwards compatibility. Last gen Threadripper was a bit of an exception. So that was a bit of a bummer. They did do a socket change to the T-Rex socket, but I would be surprised if we didn't see some kind of chip upgrade for this platform. And unlike what we've done in the past, where with Intel, we've always put their top-tier chip into our workstations, we've actually got some room to move even within this generation. So down the line, because Threadripper covers this just wide performance gamut, we're not even putting a chip that is half as powerful as the most powerful chip that you can put in the socket, depending on the workload in it. So because that gamut is so wide, you could build a workstation today. 3 years down the line, you could fire up eBay, pick up 3990 WXs, throw those in all the workstations, and now, okay, you've got 64 cores, maybe you need 256 gigs of RAM now. So we are considering the upgradability of this a little bit more. Palazza, yes, I occasionally check Twitch chat, but normally I'm busy building the machine and like talking about it and stuff. Wow, Floatplane chat is just talking about like completely unrelated things. I thought I wanted a breath of fresh air the other day. I was going to make some lunch, found out it was the middle of the night, so instead of okay, you know what though? That is very on topic right now, because I have had the same experience with the way that my sleep schedule has been all over the place, because I'm not going into work at the regular times, and sometimes I'm staying up very late filming videos. It's been a little bit messed up. Like, there have been nights when I was up streaming Anno till like 4 because I'd had like a super long day. I'd filmed like 2 or 3 videos that day, and it's just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm exhausted, but I actually need some time to unwind right now. And then, well, obviously that throws everything way off, and I didn't manage to get up very early the following morning, and then it took me a few days to kind of get normalized there. All right. Why don't we go ahead and get, oh yeah, this is exciting. So, where is, here it is, okay, cool. So Intel didn't manage to get the CPUs for our workstations this time around, but they have still managed to get their hardware into it. This I am jazzed about. So Optane is now available in an M.2 form factor, right here. So this is a 380 gig Optane SSD that I'm going to be using for the boot drive. And you guys might say, 380 gigs? Gee, Linus, that's not a lot of space for a workstation. To which I would reply, you sound like my editors. You're not supposed to be using the local space on your workstation. If you're using your local storage, you're doing it wrong, because you are supposed to be using the NAS, where everything is safely backed up and replicated. If you're putting stuff on your local drive, you are breaking company policy, so no one wants to get caught complaining they don't have enough space on their workstation. So that's all I have to say about that. So this is one epic, whoa, mother of an SSD. You can't really tell, I guess, because my hands are not great for scale. This could easily be a normal-sized M.2 in a normal person's hands. But actually, these are small hands, and this is a giant M.2. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Very excited. Check that out. So there's our controller. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really? That's an odd, strange number of Optane chips. I have not actually looked closely at this thing before, but now we know it's got kind of an odd load out there. Let's go ahead and have a close look here. So it's really interesting, because I kind of expected Intel to be a little bit salty that we didn't ask them for CPUs for this project, but they actually were super chill about it, and I think that's part of kind of their new strategy. They're no longer just talking about like, oh yeah, we want to be, the CPU maker for the world. They're talking about they want to be the #1 semiconductor maker. So that means network interfaces, solid state drive controllers, all kinds of things like that. So here we are. The strategy is officially working because even though we're not using an Intel CPU this time around, they still managed to get their silicon in our build because these are hands down the fastest, most responsive drives that you can get for a computer. Just anything Optane based, because you don't need, like, you keep seeing SSDs marketed as, however many gigabytes per second, but you don't need that. Like, not just you don't need that, there's like actually no benefit to it whatsoever in some cases. Well, in most cases, unless you're copying gigantic files to and from those high-speed sequential SSDs. But what Optane does is it gives you that responsiveness that you need. So when, let's say that, an application needs to go and fetch an asset off of your local storage in order to open up a new module or something like that you didn't have open before. Optane allows you to like load it right up quick fast. Whereas if you're relying on a drive that's just all about that sequential speed, if those assets that it needs to load are kind of scattered all over the place and they're really small, it might be less responsive. And the other thing that's great about Optane is that this is weird. What does this do? Okay, I will figure that out. I'll figure that out a little bit later. The other great thing about it is that while other things are going on in the background, Optane doesn't give up performance because it's kind of in between RAM and traditional NAND in terms of the access latency. Now we've got a bit of a problem here that I've been stumbling over my words because I've been trying to figure out what to do while I've been talking to y'all. So I did say that this was a big kahuna mother of an SSD. Well, now you guys are probably getting an idea of what I mean because it doesn't fit on this motherboard. There's no SSD mount there. Even this one, which I sort of assumed would fit, actually has a capacitor that's interfering with the fit there. Here I can use my nausea vision camera here to show you guys what I'm talking about. Here, maybe I could stabilize it there, and that would help a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there's our focal point. So see, there's a capacitor right there.